Greetings to you all on National Science Day, celebrated to mark the discovery of Raman effect by Nobel laureate Shri C.V. Raman in 1928. For me, it is an occasion to be ever cherished. I have no doubt from this place I will go fully charged, fully energized, fully inspired, and fully motivated to be in service of our great land. Through Dr. K. Donmuthi, Honorable Minister for Higher Education, a modest man, but I have a deep connect with him. His son is a member of Parliament, so I'll be ever in touch with him. Thiru Professor V. Kamakoti, Director IIT Madras. I am captivated by him, I am stumped by him. Very simple, full of modesty and sublimity. One can mistake him for a research scholar. Look at him and you are in a different state of mind. It's a delightful moment that such a person happens to be director of this great institution. And he is director during Amrit Kaal, 75th year of independence. And he, along with the faculty, will be creating those warriors who will shape the destiny of India in 2047. They are before me. His brief discourse justified everything which Shakespeare said, brevity the soul of it. He conveyed everything. But one homework which I take from his discourse, and which I give to everyone here also, alumni is the spinal strength of any institution. Institutions grow on the shoulders of the alumni, their laurels, their contributions. I therefore appeal to everyone, and intelligentsia in particular, let us in this country have a mechanism for structured evolution of alumni in all institutions. Those alumni institutions will certainly take care of our nationalism, our economic nationalism, and our growth trajectory. Thiru Professor Mahesh Panchgunla, Director, Dean. Sir, you focused on this thing, rightly so. I would want this great institution to take a lead in having a model platform for all alumni. And then let the alumni organizations not be isolated. We can have these alumni institutions confederation also. And trust me, Globe would not have seen a more penetrating think tank to change the world for the better. This is bound to happen. Thiru V. Shankar, benefactor, the new Center for Innovation facility. And Dr. Sudesh Dhankhar, my wife. Friends, this inauguration carries a huge meaning. It indicates the changing ecosystem and the new profile that India is indicating to the world at large. This gathering before me represents both diverse India and spirit of India. There is energy, vibrancy, and positivity. I can read the destiny of India, and it will be ever on the rise. Let me share a small instance with you. When I started my legal profession in Rajasthan and had made some impactful presence, a law graduate from a village walked into my chamber. He came on a rickshaw. His name Shri Jagdeep Yogi. Now a very distinguished advocate of Rajasthan High Court, but came from a family that had a rich tradition of Sanskriti. He had never seen a town before. He started. And what a delightful moment for that great successful lawyer. His son, Khusdev Yogi, is a fourth semester civil engineering student at IIT Madras. His daughter Isha Satyam made an issue. I will go to IIT Madras, and is therefore MSc chemistry student, second semester. This is possible. Why? Because we have an ecosystem. By affirmative governmental policies that we are now enabled to fully exploit our talent and potential, and the kind of hiccups we faced in my generation are no longer there. The learned director had indicated about IIT Madras, number one in overall category. I wouldn't reflect on that. Number one in engineering institutions, an institute of excellence, top innovative institution in the country, in the Atal ranking of institutions. Its 620-acre campus is home to 432 species of plants and animals, 50 species of butterflies, and even the endangered black buck is found on the campus. Just a year ago, in 2022 July, you launched something unique, and that was out-of-the-box thinking online course. And in this country, the largest democracy, the mother of democracy, we need really to think out of the box for our solutions. And this out-of-the-box thinking through mathematics to encourage innovative thinking. And let me tell you, go to any part of the world, innovative thinking is in our DNA. We are the best in the world. We only have to activate it. And this is being activated in this institute. It is the epicenter for this most wholesome development. And the target is to reach 1 million school and college students. I have no doubt the target shall be attained. A reference was made to Sudha Gopal Krishna Brain Center. It is indeed an ambitious global project to map human brain. Again, I reflect, we have the best brain. Mapping the best brain will lead larger good for humanity. To map human brain at cellular and connectivity levels with focus on high resolution brain imaging. No country in the world can make most, and no country in the world is more in need of artificial intelligence. I am so glad this institute has developed an instrument, a product that will put it on geometrical growth, and that is pivot that can predict cancer-causing gene mutations in an individual. On a lighter side, let us not have an instrument that can predict electoral outcome. That will cut into a sense of democracy. It does happen with some kinds of exit polls and people saying here and there. Let it be left to the people who are in the field. Friends, I would not reflect more on the IIT Madras, it is too well known. I will share the global scenario with you at the moment. Contemporaneous global scenario. India is a bright star, so held by everyone in the world. Amongst the developing nations, our economy is the brightest, without doubt. We are expected to grow many times more than the growth of US or European Union. What a great satisfaction for us in 2022 September. India became the world's fifth largest economy, and a greater satisfaction. And it has a special meaning for me because I was Governor State of West Bengal for 3 years. I was in that Raj Bhavan from where the Britishers ruled. So in September 2022, we overtook our erstwhile colonial rulers and became the fifth largest. I have no doubt. I have no doubt by turn of the decade, and everyone is voicing the same thing, same sentiment, we'll be the third largest economy in the world. And with warriors of 2047 before me, by that time we'll be at the peak, and no one can do otherwise. India's rise, friends, is unstoppable. It shall continue to be an incremental trajectory. And look at the global scenario, how stressful it is. Look in the south, look in the east, look in the west. Collapse. And India continues to rise like a plateau. That's our Bharat. A land of opportunity, a land of global destination for investment and opportunity. I don't want to reel out figures, you know them, where we have reached at the moment. When India speaks now, the world listens. Look at the two statements made by the India's Prime Minister. Visionary statements of a statesman. Last year he made a statement, India has never engaged in expansion, and this is not an era of expansion. This year the Prime Minister made a statement globally approved. War is not a solution to any problem. Problems in the world have to be resolved through dialogue and diplomacy, and therefore I repeat, when India speaks, the world listens. But friends, the best defense is your strategic preparedness. And one of the great facets of economic preparedness is economic nationalism. So defense preparedness, economic preparedness, but economic nationalism. Now, institutions like IIT are doing a great job in that. But we have to inspire and motivate our people to be little thoughtful and care for economic nationalism. Surely, दिवाली के दिए और पतंग बाहर से आनी चाहिए क्या? और पटाखे तो यहीं बन सकते हैं. I am focusing on that. I was elected to Parliament in 1989 and had the occasion to be a Union Minister. I can therefore tell you, we were running a government with 20 parties together. For 30 years thereafter, 89 onwards, for 30 years, the last one-party government was in 80s, mid-80s. For 3 decades, the government at the center was coalition government. But there was a watershed in 2014, a momentous development, a game changer in Indian politics, and the country came to have a single party government after 3 decades. That was the time things started moving in a different direction qualitatively. The inclusive growth phenomenon caught up, and there was renewed vindication of the electoral faith in 2019. The blueprint of growth of India is no longer on paper. It is on ground. It is being executed. If we go by Global Innovation Index, we have jumped by 40 positions. And this is reflected in research and filing of patents, of which this institute is more aware than anyone else. India has the 3rd largest startup ecosystem with over 80,000 startups and 3rd highest unicorns in the world. And last year, we were the highest in this category. Friends, let me tell you, growth in the world sometimes is pyramidical. That is, the urban centers have a benefit of growth. In our country, the growth has reached down to the villages. Those of the districts that were lagging behind, the aspirational districts, where the district magistrate used to avoid posting, are favorite posting destinations now, thanks to the development that has taken place. I'm extremely happy and satisfied to note a credible performance by IIT Madras. Indian resurgence is being led by it, with its incubation cell hosting more than 300 startups with a collective valuation of nearly rupees 40,000 crores. Glad to learn that all these successes began at the Hon'ble student-led Center for Innovation, Tinker Lab. This has changed the attitude of young IITians from being job seekers to job creators in the country. I can tell you, friends, we look at the corporate echelons and that Indians are at the top. That is incomplete story. We are top in the platinum category, which is beyond the corporate heads. And that is owing to the success of faculty members like the director, who think in the future, who are visionaries, who translate their dreams and aspirations for welfare of the nation through you young minds. So, I am before whom I call as warriors of 2047. Some of us will be around to see what you will be doing and performing, and the world will be watching in a stunned appreciation. Some of us may not be here, but I can say with confidence, no young human resource in the world can compete with Indian minds, and I have the best before me at the moment. I am am reminded by a slogan popularized in the 19th century by Swami Vivekananda. I belong to a district, Jhunjhunu in Rajasthan, where Swamiji had the occasion to work. And I was governor state of West Bengal, where Swamiji made impactful situations. And been to Chicago along with my wife, Dr. Sudesh, where Swamiji rendered that address to the world, which immortalized our civilization and Swamiji both. The message of Swamiji, I quote, "Arise, awake and stop not until the goal is reached," unquote. As a matter of fact, this is not a slogan originating from the thought process of Swamiji. This slogan is embedded in our civilizational ethos. If you trace its origin, you will find it is in Kat Upanishad. Those of you who are keen to read about it, 1.3.14. I would appeal to all young minds, do spare some time to have first a physical look at Upanishads. Wherever I have been and come across the student category, they are enthused by the name Upanishad, but have not had the benefit to see it physically. I would appeal to all of you, get Upanishads. It will sharpen your brain and help you achieve affirmatively for larger welfare of the society. Friends, I sometimes get worried. Why don't we see the writing on the wall? Why do we allow some voices that dent our system, tarnish our democracy, run down our success? We must take pride in being Indians. We must be proud of our accomplishments. The world is appreciating, and some of us are questioning. India is the largest democracy and mother of democracy on earth. I dare say without fear of contradiction, it's the most functional democracy. We have everything which constitutes sublimity and essence of democracy. Tell me where on the planet you have a judiciary that acts with lightning speed. Find out, you'll find none. Our judiciary has acquitted itself with lightning speed to give a new nectar to democracy. You will not get a parallel anywhere else. Where on the planet you have executive that plans big, executes big? Imagine 220 crore vaccine doses, people raising all kinds of issues, irrationally, without thought process, without believing in the nation, trying to run down a program. But we have beaten COVID. 220 crore vaccination doses, and they are digital, certified on your mobile. No country in the world can lay claim to this, including the developed West. Where to find a country which feeds 800 million people from 1st April 2020 with cereal, rice, pulse, continues to do so? Look at the gigantic scale. With one button, we have developed a mechanism where over 10 crore farmers can get direct transfer of funds. And the amount has crossed so far 2 lakh crores. There are other issues also. When I was a member of parliament, his son is a member of parliament. Sir, in 89, we used to have 50 gas connections to a member of parliament whom the member of parliament could give to anyone. And now, 150 million gas connections given to needy households. Look at the scale at which things are being executed. Still we allow people to raise a finger at our development index. Young minds have to question them by hard facts. It's our country, our achievement, our accomplishments. We can't allow these to be run down by people who may not be so motivated as most of us are. Friends, I would share my two thoughts with young minds, those who are in the audience here and outside also. And one is, I am Rajya Sabha chairman. By virtue of my position, I am chairman Rajya Sabha, the House of Elders, the upper house, the house that is permanent, that can't be dissolved. Now there is a model for us. Constituent Assembly engaged into debate for 3 years. Did you see any disruption? Any disturbance? Anyone going to the well? No. If our founding fathers, framers of the Constitution, could decide about constitutional issues, contentious issues, issues by nature very divisive, without shouting, without sloganeering, without engaging into disturbance, without going into the well, without challenging the chair. Why should we do it now? This temple of democracy is for dialogue, debate, discussion, deliberation. This is not for disturbance and disruption. But what I am surprised, this conduct does not evoke your response. I have not seen an editorial in any newspaper. I have not seen intelligentsia and journalists rising. I have not seen people's movement on this. How can public of this country countenance disruption in the House? Taxpayers' money in crores goes for every day's performance. Parliament is meant to hold the executive accountable, to hold the government accountable. I therefore appeal to all of you. Get in every mode of communication, social media or otherwise. Help generate an ecosystem so that purity and sanctity of temples of democracy, the parliament and legislature is not outraged. Let us have debate, dialogue, discussion and deliberation there. It's a place for free exchange of expressions. I need your support. I need support of young minds. And I know if you choose to do it, it will become a mass movement. And that is why the representatives will be held accountable. That yes, the people who send you there, the people who look up to you for performance, do not approve of disruption and disturbance. It is my unfortunate but constitutional obligation to preserve the purity of the temple of democracy. I am a very patient man. I am very persuasive. But can I fail Indian Constitution? Can I fail your aspirations? Can I shut your dream? I will be your foot soldier. But I want you to be on the move for that. And that is something my expectation from you. Second, I am reflecting because some editorials have been written. There is a provision in the Constitution, Article 105, That means a member parliament can express in parliament on the floor of the house, and there can be no civil or criminal litigation. This is a great privilege. A member parliament speaks something, and constitution says 140 crore people, even if they are hurt, cannot go to court, cannot go for defamation, cannot go for criminal action. That is the privilege of expression given to a member parliament. But is this privilege without responsibility, without accountability? Is this privilege a license to say anything on the floor of the house? No. The house has to preserve the dignity of 140 crore people so that it does not become a khada or a dumping ground for any information, unverified, allegatory, reckless, to set narratives. I have therefore made a fervent appeal. Any information can be there in the house. Full flow of information and expression will be there. That is a sense of democracy. But it comes with one tag. You must authenticate the information. You must take responsibility for the information. And if that is turned out to be wrong, we have a mechanism in Parliament, breach of privilege. I want young minds to understand it. I want my journalist friends, I have seen some editorials and pained at them. They must go to the Constituent Assembly debates. They must see the global scenario. Holding up someone for breach of privilege is not throttling expression. It is throttling dumping of information which is not authenticated and which is recklessly made, misusing the platform of Parliament. I appeal to you all to think about it seriously. I'll conclude my young friends by making two simple points. We have a robust court system. Things are analyzed for high and mighty, including the Honorable Prime Minister. For 2 decades, the issue was deliberated in judicial quarters. It was thoroughly investigated at all levels. The highest court of the land, the highest court of the largest democracy, pronounced on all fronts in 2022. Finally. And we have a narrative being set afloat by a documentary. And see, some people say, this is expression. Sir, in the name of expression, can you run down my Supreme Court? Can you run down 2 decades of thorough investigation? This is playing politics the other way around. When people choose to play politics the other way around, the young minds here and outside are intellectually equipped to challenge them. There is one gentleman somewhere using some money power, he has some backers, he has some beneficiaries, he has some fiscal parasites. And they talk about our country's democracy. I have been appalled, pained. How can a sane mind compare us with a southern country, with our neighbor? I would therefore appeal to you. If you have to take this country to 2047, vindicate the trust of the founding fathers, Please be on guard. Those who play politics the other way around, they need to be combated, neutralized, and they must face your rational salvos. Once again, I am happy and delighted, a moment to be ever cherished. I carry special connectivity and will be in touch ever with the Honorable Director. And when we do move into the next session, I would be extremely happy and delighted to host a group of IITians from Madras to be my guests in Delhi and see Delhi and Parliament. Thank you so much.